I was listening to a YouTube video the other day that was called 10 Things You Must Work On Every Day. It was a Jim Rohn motivational video. Um, I think it was a compilation of um, recordings from him, or it could have been a speech. Um, but the 10 things were: one, attitude; two, communicate; three, self discipline; four, challenge your limiting beliefs; five, time management; six, build your knowledge; seven, finances; eight, personal development; nine, purpose; and 10 was grateful. So let's get into my take on those 10 items you should be working on every day. So, first off, attitude. Um, Attitude can affect any number of things, like if you're a business owner, how um, interactions with a customer might go, if they might back out of a sale if you have a bad attitude, or kind of brush you off. If you have a job instead of a business, your boss might be less likely to give you a promotion or more responsibilities if you're just putting in the least amount of work. You have a bad work ethic, and then you have a bad attitude towards your coworkers all the time. Um, or if you just have um, you know a bad look on your face, like you're angry all the time. So ways you can work on your attitude would be journaling, meditating, um, praying. I know not everyone's religious, but praying doesn't specifically just have to be um, religious. It could be, spiritual. But um, there's all kinds of ways to work on your attitude. So if you improve your attitude, you'll be less likely to react to things and more likely to get um, beneficial results out of interactions with people. And if you're less angry, you'll feel more peaceful and happy throughout the day. Number two, communicate. You know, Communication is kind of going to be similar to attitude. If you aren't good at communicating, then you might not be able to get your point across. And, if you have a business, you might not be able to um, get prospects interested enough in your product or service to be able to close a sale. So at that point, you could have the best product or service, but because of your bad communication, whether it's your style or vocabulary or whatever, if you can't communicate well, you might not be able to sell well. So um, there's multiple ways to go about improving your communication. Toastmasters is one thing. It's a group where you give speeches, and then the members will give feedback, and you can improve on your speeches. But then there's also um, different ways of learning, from what I understand. I've never actually joined a Toastmasters group, so I'm not sure what all goes on beyond just giving the speeches. You could watch YouTube videos or read books on communication and just practice talking to close friends so you could get more confident and comfortable with communication. Three, self discipline. Um, it's not everyone likes to be disciplined, but if you can't have self discipline, then you will find it easy to procrastinate or um, just not do the things you should be doing. So, if you want to be healthy, it's might be more comfortable to eat a Big Mac and sit on the couch watching Netflix for hours at a time instead of eating a healthier alternative and, you know, lifting weights for half an hour and going for, you know, a 45-minute walk. So, um, discipline really comes down to making better choices consistently and just being responsible, being accountable, doing stuff that might feel hard at first, but um, you get used to doing it once it becomes a habit. Number four, challenging your limiting beliefs. This might be called mindset, right? In this day and age, but challenging your limiting beliefs, um, that'll help you get past whatever's holding you back. So, maybe you might have a limiting belief that um, the rich are greedy and, you know, are hoarding money, and the rich are preventing you from making money, which, isn't necessarily the case, but um, having limiting beliefs like that can hold you back from making the money you would like to make because you somehow feel someone that is richer than you is preventing you from making money. No, you don't have the skills to provide the value that that person is. So you need to go learn some skills, learn the right mindset, change your beliefs so that you can learn how to bring more value to then make more money. Um, Five is time management. I've done a video on that recently. Um, it comes down to prioritizing tasks, delegating things that maybe might not be highest priority or highest value for you, blocking out chunks of time to do certain things that are important. If you're at a job and one of your coworkers wants to gossip, maybe saying like, well, hold on, I have this really important thing I need to do. Like, how important is this? Oh, you want to gossip? Well, I don't have time. Like, saying no to low value stuff is important. Six is build your knowledge. Something we hear a lot is, you know, be a reader. Rich people read a ton of books. Doesn't necessarily build your knowledge doesn't necessarily have to be reading, but as you can see on one of my bookshelves, I have a bunch of books. Um, I read at least 5 or 10 pages a day, sometimes more. but I also watch and or listen to YouTube videos, which is why I put out content here on my YouTube so I can hopefully inspire other people and help you guys learn. Number seven is finances. So obviously, finances is a big one. It's important to have a budget. It's important to just understand the numbers, your income, your money coming in, and then where your money's going, where are you spending it all, um, debt. Do you have, um, do you carry a high credit card debt? How could you attack that if you do? Are you investing any money? Are you saving any money? Just stuff like that. I've done a few videos on finances, but it's been a little while, so I might do another video on finances soon. Eight is personal development, become better every day. And a side note I had on there about that was UNLEARN. So it's just as important to unlearn that bad stuff or forget the bad stuff as it is to learn good new stuff. So going back to the limiting beliefs, if you um, believe something that's holding you back, you kind of need to erase that and come up with a more abundant belief. Well, in the same way, when you're doing personal development or learning, you kind of have to look through the data and okay, what bad data do I have and what can I replace that with? Nine is purpose. That's another big one. It's kind of like a mission, but bigger than a mission sometimes. It's like, what is your life purpose? Why are you here? What are you meant to do? You know, do you want to be the next Jeff Bezos? Do you want to own a ginormous company like Amazon? Or do you want to be Elon Musk who wants to put people on Mars? Like, how big is your purpose? And usually a purpose is really just a big goal, but there's more to it than just being a goal. So I've also done some videos relating to purpose, but I think I'd like to circle back to that too. And then 10 is grateful. So grateful kind of comes full circle to the first one, which was attitude. A lot of people say an attitude of gratitude. I've heard some people suggest writing a gratitude list every day, and that, you know, simple thing, process of writing down what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for, really helps keep you grounded and keeps you in a good attitude or mood because it's hard to be angry or sad if you're listing things you're grateful for, things that you're thankful for. So hopefully you found some value in this. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing this with someone who might also find some value in it. Thanks and have a good day.